Now, you've probably all heard of something called the gut-brain connection. Very common in today's day and age, a very important thing to talk about, but I really like to expand that further and talk about the pelvic organ brain connection, or the pelvis-brain connection. Now, I'm a dietitian and I work predominantly with people with pelvic pain and endometriosis, and what we know is that 85 to 90% of people with endo have digestive symptoms, and they have 3 times the likelihood of being diagnosed with IBS. So absolutely, the gut-brain connection is very important in this population when I'm helping them to improve gut symptoms, but it's actually more so the pelvis-brain connection that I want to talk about, because it's not just the bowel that's important, or the gut, but it's also the uterus and the bladder as well, and they're all located in that same region. And so it's actually that those pelvic organs communicate with the brain and vice versa, and that has an impact on our symptoms, including pain. Now, I really like to talk about the pelvis as a jam sandwich. So we have the front as our bladder, so that's like the bread. We've got our uterus as the jam, and then we've got the bowel as the bread. So it's like that little jam sandwich, and they're all compacted in together. And what that means is that sensitivity in one of those organs can actually transfer across. We call that crosstalk. Inflammation in one of those areas can transfer across. That's that systemic inflammation associated with endo. Why is this important? Because if we are narrowing down just to treating one component, just the uterus, just hormonal therapies, just the bowel, just low FODMAP, just the bladder, just, pelvic floor physio, we actually miss that bigger picture, and we might only get improvement in one area and not across all areas. As an example, we might see this where somebody gets surgical excision of the endometriosis, but their bowel symptoms don't improve, right? Or they might do something like low FODMAP diet to improve their gut symptoms, and they might notice an improvement, but then they're still left with maybe their bladder pain or their period pain at the same time. So what we really need to do is we actually need to think of not just the gut-brain connection, we need to expand that and think about the pelvic organ-brain connection. Not as sexy, I know, but really important, because it helps us to understand why we need to look at treating endometriosis and pelvic pain as a condition more holistically to provide you with support with improving all of your symptoms, not just one.